Right, so today we're back at the SRAM AXS new conversion, but today we're going to look at what's involved in fitting. So we've got Mr. Stump's bike here today, fitting his XO system. Chainring's already done, which is actually let's have a look at this because this is a work of art. So no 4-bolt spider, less moving parts or less to go wrong. Fits direct to crank. Love it. I need one of them. Anyway, so back to fitting up. So we're not going to go through the cassette fitting and stuff because we all know how to put cassettes on and we all know how to do the chains and bits and pieces, except for Dave has walked away with his hands in the air. Yeah, we're going to look at how this mech goes on and sets up and just show you just really how simple this thing is to fit. So we stripped it all down, as you can see. This is the bush that comes in the mech. I'll try and get this to focus. That literally just sits in there, like so. So next bit, we get the mech bolted on. We'll have a little bit of a talk about with that on in place. You can see what it looks like. And yeah, back in a sec. Now, before we bolt the mech on, one thing we want to sort of talk about is how these things set up. Because one thing you might have seen or not seen, there's not an adjustment screw inside. No B screw, no high or low, no nothing. These are all built on the perception that known distances between the mech, the cassette, the hub, the axle, so everything should be where it should be. And I'm going to do a bit in a bit. I've just been explaining to Dave. I will put this on, set the chain length up, and I won't touch a thing, and I'll guarantee you this will shift on point first time. This is revelation stuff, this. So one thing, if you guys are putting one of these on yourself at home, when you download the AXS app and start putting your bits and pieces in the AXS, it will tell you what position the setup pin needs to be in. You can see it's got an A and a B there. So you can pop it out, spin it around, push it back in again, and it'll then see an A or B. And then when it's in the setup lock position, because the old SRAM Max, you used to spin them around to lock them, to take the chain off, you used to release them and ride around. These have got a point in the middle, which is the setup point. You can see the red line pointing to B is flush with this section of the mech here. You can see it's flush there. If it was an A, it'd be that way around. This is important. This is what's basically replaced your B screw. And once I'm finished up, I'll show you why and how, because this is the important bit. This is the only bit you need to get right, and that's it. The rest of it is absolute child's play. So let me get this fitted to the frame. We'll get the chain length sorted out and get that cut down to the size. I'll show that bit as well, because that's another little clever little bit, which is almost just like, why has no one done this before? But yeah, we'll get to it there. And then we'll have a look at what it looks like to set it all up. So back in a minute. Right, so the mech's on. Right, screw the bolt up, nip it up, back one turn, because this whole thing needs to float. All right, you can see just like the little switch plate in the back of there. The whole point of that being is once it's in place, that needs to be lined up. But if the mech was to take a front-on thump, you can basically spin it up and out of the way, and all you've got to do is then push it back round. Obviously this plate will be tight and butted up to the frame by then, and yeah, and then your mech's back in play and you carry on riding. Right, so mech is in its setup position, floppy jalopy, because we need to be able to move it around to set up the chain tension. The mech should be sitting preset in 7th gear. Now that's another important bit as well, because this whole system is set up in 7th gear and it doesn't need to be in sag either. So it's a sagless setup, real, almost idiot proof. He's gonna love that. Yeah, so let's get his chain done, and then we'll start putting it back together, or putting it together, should I say. Right, so just a quick brief one on pairing them. If anyone's ever done this before and doesn't want to read instructions, simple. Press the whole button, green light will come on, and now it started flashing. Then my glamorous assistant, he will press the pair button on the end of the shifter. So press that for us, Dave. And we'll get a rapid blink when it pairs. There we go. Right, let go. Press button. There you go. Hey presto, magic mech. Right, chain bit next. Right, so she's all sitting in situ, if you like. Now, when you bolt it all in, remember, nip up, back a turn. So we've got floppy jalopy. Same for the axle. Screw in, back a turn, because this whole lot needs to float for the time being. Now, this is where the witchcraft kicks in. So with the bike in 7th gear, so There's a red ring that lives in the cassette, which I don't think you can see it. That identifies 7th gear. The mech is in 7th gear. We're in the setup screw. The way you set the chain length on these is literally just by holding it back there, tightening that bolt hole, making sure, and we mentioned the slide plate, and they're lined up, that all floats together, you can see because it's all loose in a minute. If that was tight, they would offset each other, but in a minute they can float. So you do that, so the chain is tight in 7th gear, and you nip him up, release the pin, tighten the axle up, job done. That is it. No screws, no setting up, no faffing. That simple. Davey's in absolute disbelief. I was the same when I fitted mine as well. I was like, it can't be that simple, but it is. So I'm going to do exactly that now. I'm going to nip it all up, torque it all up, and then show you in action. So be right back. We've torqued it up, 25 newton meters for the rear mech. Axle torqued up. We've chucked one of the old arms just for now, because what I wanted to show Dave was just basically we've done nothing. There's been no micro tuning, no nothing. She's sat in 7th, right? Fiddle. Dave, do the honours. Down to 12, 11, 10. Go on, all out first, as fast as you can. Oh, there you go. Absolutely. Staying true in line. How trick is that? It is literally fit and forget. Idiot proof. Job done. That is how you fit the new AXS systems. Go away. Right, so a little revelation. We've made a bit of a discovery. So on my one, which is the XX set, which I opted to not have the cranks on because I've already got carbon cranks, it comes with a chain ring. So the chain guide goes in, blah, 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 blah. On Dave's, which is the 4-group set, which comes with a direct mate chain ring, the offset's different. And it sits further from the frame. So the chain guide doesn't fit. Now there's nowhere in the instructions of SRAM that tells you this. It's only when we looked on Rob's Rides video, where he was first testing the system and using a Levo, and we zoomed in and realised that SRAM had removed the chain guide because of how big this offset is between the chain ring, which is cool because my one runs real close to the frame, and when you go on a crappy ride, it gets all in here. It's honestly, even Dave would tell you, it's a faff to get behind it and clean it and blah, blah, blah. Whereas this one runs slightly more proud of the frame, not by a lot, probably by about, well, Dave can get his finger down the back a bit, but and mine's probably about half a finger width. So you're only talking probably about 3-4 mil tops, but it's enough for the chain guide not to fit. So if you guys are fitting these on a Levo and trying to work out way to fit the chain guide, you don't. It comes off. And this system runs so taut anyway that chances of bouncing that chain off are pretty much none. And we'll find it when we ride it anyway. So if we have to do anything, we have to make something up afterwards, we will do. But for the time being, it's without. There we go. Right, last little bit coming up. And there we go. Fitted, done. No tuning needed. We're out tomorrow anyway, so any micro tuning it might need just to get the sweetness in it. And I don't think it will do because I've never had to do anything with mine, and yeah, good as gold. There we go.